Okay, this is going to be an attempt to do a little showcase of my 99 E150. Hold on, let me fix my lens. There we go. Sherrod conversion van. This is going to go up for sale on eBay. Today is what, April 1st, April 3rd, 2022. So if you see this for some reason and you're interested in the week following that, it'll be up for sale. Hopefully somebody's going to buy it. Hopefully a bunch of people will be interested. Who knows? So what do I know about it? It has, well, we'll show you, less than 84,000 miles on it. It has a 4.6 liter Triton V8 with a wicked high-rise aluminum intake. Mind you, it is stock, but back in the old days, high-rise aluminum intakes were pretty gnarly. They were the high performance. I tried replacing it, but I just couldn't do it, and I'll discuss that here in a bit. Well, while I'm talking about the engine, I'm at the front here, and we'll get to the engine later. Anyway, it had some rust on the outside. My intention was to take out the rust and simply refinish those areas. So that's what I did. Okay, where was I? I had changed the battery. So I went in search of the factory matched paint, and I had to go to a company called the Tint Effect online and get them to make up some spray cans, and had delusions of painting it up pretty good. I gotta admit, the only thing that came out really well were the fenders. The fenders look pretty good. The rest of it, I didn't put enough paint on them, enough clear, whatever. You can see I got the little vent visors. However, if you can do a lot of traveling, you're gonna probably want to yank these out of here, because there's a little bit of wind noise with those. This isn't designed for that. It's a little more aerodynamic than that. Round spot mirrors. It's got power mirrors, of course. It had a ridiculous looking fender flare kit, and running boards. Yanked those. They were busted up and they looked ridiculous anyway, because they stuck out about that far, and without big fat tires they look ridiculous. I still have the brackets. I'll send those along with it. I think I've had this about 3 years. When I got it, it had a new tire, one new tire a year earlier than that, and had a brand new battery when I got it, which is kind of relevant because I've replaced that since. The records, I got records on this thing anyway. I tinted the windows, the maximum for Florida tint, whatever that is, for the fronts, limo tint for the back ones. Unfortunately, this particular one, I had to make the tint myself. I ended up cutting it backwards. This one, the tint is on the outside, as well as these. There's nowhere to get inside to tint those on the inside. So this one and those little side windows, the tint's on the outside, so you're gonna have to be careful of that. It's got a gallon of elastomeric roof covering, coating, whatever applied to it, like Cool Seal. I think it's the generic one for that. The back bumper had been dinged in a bit, which only significance of that, it just happened to be where you could not take this little plate off, and this is how you get the spare tire out of there. You open this up. Let me just show you that while we're here. You open that up, unscrew this little sucker, this thing comes out of the way, you stick the rod in there, lower the back tire. Okay, so we're at the back. It's got trailer hitch, receiver hitch. It's got one of those connectors. It also has the standard little thingy connected there too. I put some backup lights on it, which are actuated on the front. It has rear air, although the rear air does not work. The front air works great. It uses the same compressor, so they think there's something in here, expansion valve or something, which would require them to take it all apart and figure it out. And I said, don't worry about it. I think there was a vacuum cleaner that went there originally. Don't have that. It's got these little hanger dealies lights. Not sure. Not sure how those work. But the controls for the back seater right here. I'll show that in a minute. This particular shade is broken where it goes there, so I have just tied it up. I've made these foil blocker dealies for all the windows. This one works just fine. Keep the sun out of it. This is a locking and unlocking button, so you can unlock and lock it for your speakers. This little guy back here drops down like that if you want to fold it to the bed. Let's see, which way is that one? You push that button and you can see what's going to happen here. You gotta pull these guys up. Gotta pull those guys. Hold on a second. Somewhere is a little lever there. Okay. Where was I? Hold on. Okay, continuing on. Where was I at? Okay, and this also goes up and back all the way, so you can actually push those chairs back that way and slide that forward. I also have a big, thick, I'm thinking it's 6 inches thick, piece of foam which I have cut to match the size of this thing. I can't remember how big it is. If you're really tall, you're going to hang over the end, but so if you put those chairs back and you put this thing over here and a pillow and sheet and all that, and that great big foam thing makes it a lot nicer than laying on this. So that'll go too. There's also controls at the front for this. So put those back in there. Always, oh, gotta go the other way. Always something. Okay. And so you got plenty of room up here, and you can move that sucker way up there if you want some room in the back here. As you can see, and here's the jack and the little handle, and a little tiny jack, but it owner's manual's in there. It tells you how to use that. A piece of trim there, seat belts for that. Oops, you can do that and put this thing back where it belongs because it takes up a lot of room in the back. Anyway, alright, so that's the back. There's rust up on these edges here. I was gonna rebuild this thing and try to weld some stuff in or whatever, but you know what? It drains the water out of here. Change the bulb in there so the third eye light works. Just let it run off of there. I ain't worried about it. Didn't try to restore it. Let's see, you got a dent in here. I can't really get to the back of that. I'm sure somebody knows what they're doing could pop that right out of there probably. You can see the outside tin on that. Ended up polishing off some of the paint. It looked a little better originally, but it was rough. So the top's getting kind of discolored a little bit. I had a real hard time trying to take pictures of the top. It didn't come out. It's just because of the white sky or whatever. I don't know. I did sand this down with a little sanding sponge, so it's relatively smooth. Just walk around here. Didn't paint any. I painted the belt line up. I didn't repaint any of this down here, except for this fender. Got one little dent there that didn't quite fill out all the way. New decal. Hood looked pretty good until I started cutting it with. What was I using? 1000 grit sandpaper to smooth it all out, and found I didn't have enough paint on it. I repainted these and that, and well, let's go ahead and cruise in the back first. Inside, I mean, this is missing its trim. Once I have these panels, I have one for the windshield over here too. Doesn't fit quite as well. These got little magnets in the corners that basically just duct taped. This works, of course. I'll pull these out because we'll go for a little ride here. I think the power door locks, I'm not sure if they actually operate this particular side. I don't think it unlocks this side for some reason. Alright, so it's got little lights down here that come on. These seats are in pretty good shape. Carpet's got some stains in it or whatever. All these side curtains work, and I have the same foam dealers in there. The rear stereo face is missing, so there's a volume knob's missing off of that. There's jacks and stuff, so the back end luxury part of the Sherrod conversion pretty much is in op. Just because the stereo, if you change this, you could probably get it to work. This is the center console that comes with the Sherrod. CD storage and a couple of fuses. As far as I'm concerned, this is useless. I had this on when I first started. It's got a little ashtray, and that's it. There's no, ashtray there. Just this little tiny shelf in there. I vastly improved that. I'll show you how here. So the seats are manually operated. It's got 3 of these compartments on either side. They're pretty good. They go all the way through. Oh, pretty good shape. The lights, I think, all work. From the switches up front to the back. I don't know if you can see this or not. Very well with all the things. These got little compartments. You can see that. Take the covers off of those. Ashtrays, cup holders. Another compartment in the back. Rear air ducts, but the heat works in the rear. The air does not for whatever reason. And it's hanging under there. These little things just hang down. These little lights come on here. See if I can show you that. All these compartments are good. Up here is a little box. These are cracked here, cracked up there. Used to be a TV, no TV. All the wiring stuff is still in there. There used to be a VCR, I think it was. And it's got another compartment there. One thing you gotta watch out for, if you're coming from the back to the front, you will run into this. You gotta be very careful of that. I run into this thing, I don't know how many times. It's no fun. So here's what we got in the front. This console I found. This one makes a world of difference. It makes this thing actually usable. It's got a nice big deep pocket there. It's got another compartment here, gigantic cup holders. It used to be an ashtray. Who uses an ashtray anymore? Nope. No glove box. That's why this is so important. Dashboard is in good shape. The wood trim, let me get these out of here, get some light in here. Right and left. The right seat's got some, what is this, some mosquitoes. Some paint or something on there. I don't want to mess with that. This is leather. I don't know much about treating leather. I think I'd screw it up if I tried to do anything with it. Seatbelts work. It's got WeatherTech floor mats in it. I'll show you some weird thing about that one. The driver's seat's got this rip in it over here. And we'll look at that here in a little bit when we get out. Sun visor. This apparently had been up. Not so great. Back's good. Vanity mirror works. This one's pretty good. Vanity mirror works. I flip those down when I have the sun visor in there. Here's the controls for the back seat. It's got cockpit lights. In fact, this is brand new. I just put that in there. This switch, I do not know what it does. I'll show you what those do in a minute. CD cassette player. A little antiquated. I'm getting a lot of glare there. Alright, let's move around to the side here. Sorry for how long and tedious this is, but so this side's pretty good. A little hole in there. I think I was trying to figure out how to change that mirror. I changed that mirror when I first got it. Turns out I didn't need to. I got through there or something. WeatherTech floor mat on this side for some reason. I guess I could go ahead and trim it, but you know what? I just haven't gotten around to it. Carpet's, you know, a little dirty underneath it, but these floor mats are great, so they ain't cheap either. Up under here, yeah, can't really see it. Oh, it's right there. And while I'm mentioning that, there's quite a few videos I've done on this and the work I've done on it. It had a vacuum problem, had a defrost problem. It turned out to be a problem in here. One of the actuators was loose. Okay, I don't know what happened there. Maybe I pushed the button. This is a little torn up over here. Let's say a WeatherTech floor mat over here, which is actually cut correctly on this side. Let's go ahead and pop the hood. I'll put the cover back on that. Release is underneath somewhere. Alright, this is going to be kind of interesting. If I can do it. One-handed. Okay, there we go. And it has a rod, no strut. Okay. So, let's see. When I got it, there was a couple of things. I said I had a new battery, but I've replaced that since, because that battery didn't last. Okay, here's the vacuum deal here. This little red line is the vacuum that comes out of the manifold. It used to go right here through the wheel well somewhere in there. So right now I bypassed it. I put a little rubber hose, and it actually goes down along inside the engine compartment, off to the side away from the exhaust and back up in there. I pulled the intake manifold off it. There's another, I don't know if I've done the video on that or not. But if you look at the right rear runner on the intake manifold, I said this thing has a big, it's like 8-inch rise to it. It looks like the half bolt flange to that runner is broken off. I mean, it's ragged, everything. You look at that, it's like, oh, obviously got the new replacement manifold, and lo and behold, it's cut off the same way. Looked into a little more on forums and online, and that's the way the manifold came. It doesn't make any sense, because it actually leaves a hole open on the head, but there's nothing there, no leaks. I don't know what the deal is. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Anyway, I put a set of remanufactured fuel injectors in it because it had some mishmash. New plugs, new plug wires. It's got a new radiator, all new hoses, new vacuum lines, new fuel hoses, new idler pulley, new belt, new fan pulley, I guess you'd call it. I have all the receipts from all that stuff. What else did I do in here? I don't think anything else. Oh yes, new wiper motor. The wipers wouldn't work when I got it. Long drawn out process on that. I finally figured it out after putting a new wiper motor in it. A new multi-function switch, which is the turn signal stalk. Still didn't do any good. I will show you what I figured out. So, I got in here and we turned the wipers on and said this is all new. We got the old one because there's nothing wrong with it. Save that. I could hear something clicking. So up in here is what they call the intermittent wiper governor. It turns out that was bad. So changing that, took care of it. Everything works hunky-dory. The washer still worked at that point, so it was weird. This is a powered up backup lights. It's lit switch because they're wired right in there, so you can turn them on anytime you want. If you're like trailering something, you want to see behind you and you're not running the engine, you can turn them on. Alright, so a lot of glare. So there we go. What is it? 83,844 miles right now. I'm calling it 84,000. I've taped over the ABS light. I took it in and had them look at that. They changed. Turn this down just a bit. The right front sensor, I think it was, and then they got another light saying there's something else in the ABS system. To me, I don't care. You just got to be careful driving this thing. I've never locked it up. It's too old to spend the money on that, I think. I don't know. I've been told it could be a lot of money. Cruise control works great. I highly recommend, if you're driving this thing, to get it close to the speed you want to go, kick in the cruise control. The throttle is so heavy on this thing that once that picks it up, it'll take all the pressure off it, and then you can just sit there and accelerate and decelerate or whatever just by hitting the button. 1 mile an hour per button push. A CD player does work. I don't know if I still have one in there. Okay, no tape, no disc. Okay. What the heck happened to my home? Huh. Oh, I'm on FM2. Oh, I'll be on FM2. I'll be on FM1. Alright. So anyway, that sounds pretty good. All speakers all the way in the back. There you went. Oh yeah, let's see. So what else do I do? Oh, we're getting, this thing's getting long. Well, maybe we'll drive this thing around a little bit. But for now, so it had that new tire in the front. I went ahead and put 4 brand new tires on it, 4 new shocks. I went in and put new bushings in the front anti-sway bar. This thing, when I got it, drove like a top-heavy boat. It would sway all over the place. I didn't know what the heck was going on. After I put new shocks on it, still did it. Turns out it is all in those, the bushings that are, you can't really see them. The sway bar goes into the front member there. And by putting new polyurethane bushings in there, it took care of that. It now rides flat. The front end of this thing is really, really tight. I don't know what, if somebody rebuilt it or what happened, but when I was putting those anti-sway bar bushings in there, I took the front wheel and had to take it apart so I could move the control out to get access in there, and I couldn't even turn the front wheel assembly or whatever, the hub. So I had to grease that up and work it back and forth a zillion times to get it. So this thing, when you're driving along, my Chevys all center up perfectly. You let go of them, they center right up. This thing, not so much. It's still kind of tight. It goes where you put it, and then if you let go, it'll just keep going that way, whereas my Chevy will kind of follow the road. So the front end is really tight. I put new front brake rotors on it. I don't think I changed the pads or the shoes, because just like most brakes, the rear shoes hardly ever wear out. It's got a 35-gallon fuel tank in it. I think the best I've got is high 14.8 or something like that miles per gallon on the highway. It's like driving your living room. If you're familiar with vans, you know all about that. If not, you have to be very careful. I would definitely put a rear view camera in it. I was going to put the one with the mirror, that the display comes up in the mirror. Just haven't gotten to that, and don't think I'm going to. So let's see. what else? I think that's probably pretty close. I also tinted the eyebrow up here. It does have one little wrinkle in it. It wasn't perfect. Oh, there it is over the middle too. Did them myself. I think I did videos on those too. Let's see. Comes with the owner's manual. There's the owner's guide. There's the maintenance guide. There's the warranty guide. And the Sherrod manual, which tells you some stuff. Alright, let me get situated. We'll go light this thing off and go for a quick little drive. Still licensed, so. Alright, stand by. Alright, here we go. Of course, I'm going out at 5 o'clock. Rush hour's getting cranked up. Oh yeah, forgot to put LED headlights in it, so get ready to have people flashing at you because it's very bright. Like I said, you get this thing, push the on button, hit the set Excel button, and you can drive it off the buttons. You know, of course, you want to run into traffic. So cruise control's got it right now. Yeah, this is gonna be. I think I'm gonna turn this thing around and go the other way because since I'm going nowhere. So, like I said, if you're familiar with driving a van, you should have no problems. If you're not, you got to think about this differently. Because this thing, I'm just going to wait until that guy gets out of the way. This thing is very big. It makes a very wide turn. Backing up, you got to be very careful. I recommend you drive very slowly when you're backing up. Because it's big and heavy. And you can't see out back great. You can see out the back windows, but I said he needs a rear camera really to come into the modern safety era. So, okay, so we're going to turn around here. And no point, let's see if I got anything else to say about it. And I'll just wait until I get turned around. Alright, here we go again. Oops. Alright, turn that back down. Go back to resume. Back to about 45. I'll just hit the button a couple more times and we'll pick it back up. Let's get up to speed here. Downshift to pick it up because I want to get to 55-ish. Alright. I haven't hooked up my left side wiper washer. I had that cover off of there. Let's see, is it? Nope. Yep, gotta hook that up. Alright, have to hold off for now. Okay, no big mystery there. I simply forgot to hook the hose up. Okay, I think that's about it.